At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
This year, help dreams come true with the Ideal Idaho 529 Education Savings Program. Our easy-to-use tools make it simple to plan for your child's education. With tax benefits, ownership flexibility, Ideal is the perfect way to save for college, trade school, K-12 education, and student loan repayment. Join us at our next webinar to learn more about the 529 plan. Enrolling takes just 15 minutes and you can start with just $25. Visit idsaves.org if you would like to learn more.
We do things differently in Idaho. Sometimes we go east to find west, where muddy trails meet huckleberry smiles. Stars shine electric, and the wind smells like destiny. Sure, our traffic jams are strange, and not all our steaks are ribeyes. But wherever we go, our eyes never leave the road. Belts strapped and dreams packed, no distractions, no phones, focused. From here to there, it's who we are.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Good evening and welcome to this IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of East Idaho Game Night presented by Project Filter, Valleywide Cooperative, and the Idaho Office of Highway Safety. Additional coverage on IdahoSports.com is presented by Teton Auto Group. Tonight we come to you live from Grace High School where the Oakley Hornets will take on the Grace Grizzlies. My name is Joel Richardson and I'm joined by the East Idaho expert and insider, Sean Kane. Folks, classifications have changed as Idaho adds a 6A classification to its high school ranks and moves most schools up, including our teams tonight, Oakley and Grace, who are now 2A schools. But not to worry, Sean, they still march out 8-man football teams and know each other well.
Yeah, definitely. You've got two teams that, met in the semifinals last year. Both have big-time aspirations to be back in the same spot, but both teams, Oakley and Grace, would like to finish with the blue trophy, Joel.
Yeah, super excited to have this opening playoff, opening matchup, a rematch of the playoff game last year. We're going to take a quick break as we honor our nation's flag. We'll be right back. You're watching East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com.
This year, help dreams come true with the Ideal Idaho 529 Education Savings Program. Our easy-to-use tools make it simple to plan for your child's education. With tax benefits, ownership flexibility, Ideal is the perfect way to save for college, trade school, K-12 education, and student loan repayment. Join us at our next webinar to learn more about the 529 plan. Enrolling takes just 15 minutes and you can start with just $25. Visit idsaves.org if you would like to learn more.
An Idaho-based credit union is leading the way in community initiatives and charitable partnerships. Recognizing a need for change, Lookout Credit Union underwent a major transformation to put its employees and their community first. Through two strong initiatives, Lookout Credit Union is ensuring a brighter future for its community. To find out more, visit www.lookoutcu.com.
Welcome back to East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com. Just had an awesome rendition, Sean, of the Star Spangled Banner from the famed Grace High School Marching Band.
Yeah, definitely a nice job. It's nice to be back outside with live football, live bands, live cheerleaders, live fans.
It's awesome. It's the best time of year, as our friend here, the MC, Jody, talked about. Best time of year is fall football. Let's do some starting lineups, Sean. For Grace High School, their starting lineup on defense is going to be Parker Yost, Braden Kimball, Derek Hill, Bryant Moss, Chase Smith, Landon Moss, Carson Welch, and Case Williams. Sean, a number of those guys, we've heard their names before.
Yeah, big time. Grace brings back a good percentage of that team from last year that went 7-4, 1-1 in conference, but a strong lineup for the Grizzlies.
And then we got Oakley Hornets on the other side. Starting lineup for them on offense is going to be Porter Bingham, number 0. Number 1, Jonathan Hines. Number 3, Cole Beck. Number 10, Jackson Rice. Number 11, Tim Short. Number 25, Bridger Conant. Number 45, Houston Robinson. Number 71, Dallin Hardy. Only a few names there, Sean, that stick out as names that we've heard before. Jonathan Hines and Dallin Hardy. The rest of that crew, kind of new, Sean.
Yeah, the Oakley Hornets lost a number of players to graduation last year, big time impact players, but they've got Cole Beck coming in as a sophomore is pretty good. You got Bridger Cotent is a running back linebacker as a sophomore too. So you've got some good depth from these Hornets.
As they're bringing in the lineups on each side, let's talk about some of the keys to the game, Sean, for this Hornets team. Of course, they're trying to replace those 12 seniors, like you said. Bryce Sevier, he was a 2023 Conference Player of the Year. Isaac Cranny, great football and basketball player. Kyler Robinson and Cooper Beck. So in order to kind of, their keys to the game for this is how do we replace those 12 seniors? And then they also want to lean on the D to give the offense time to gel. Their defense, Dallin Hardy, their star defenseman, you can lean on him to kind of plug things up, command the defense, and allow the offense to get some time to gel and work together.
Yeah, and that's what you kind of see in this level of classification of football is, can the defense hold enough? Because you get high-scoring games. You know, their last game of the year was 50-20. Oakley taking that one, and it's whose defense can get one more stop.
Now let's talk about the keys to the game for Grace, Sean. They want to know their alignment and assignments every play. You know, Coach Draper said game one is always interesting. They covered everything. And they want to be disciplined. Don't want to create those stupid penalties that cost you games, and then do your job. We've heard the phrase, everyone do their 1/11th. Well, for 8-man, it's everyone do their 1/8.
Yeah, do that. And, you know, Coach Jones, also is quoted in the Iowa State Journal saying, their expectations for Grace Grizzlies, perfect season, state championship.
Absolutely. And to have those expectations, you know what they say about expectations? Can't predict them. All you can do is play the next game. Here we go, opening kickoff of the 2024 Idaho high school football season. It bounces almost all the way to the end zone. They're going to receive it at almost the 1-yard line, brought down by a gang of tacklers, and they're going to start off with poor field position to start this game.
Yeah, kind of an interesting kick, but it worked and went farther than I thought it was going to go. I thought someone was going to pick it up.
So Grace will start on offense. Oakley won the toss and elected to defer. So Oakley's defense will march out there first, and Grace's offense. We get to see this 2024 offense get started in this week 1 matchup. Quarterback is Gavin Draper. He's going to throw in the first play, and he's got a man open. Caught! Goes out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Nice throw, Gavin, from Braden Kimball on that, from Gavin Draper. 1st and 10, Sean.
Yeah, nice little play action. The Grizzlies kind of keyed in on the run, and there you go. Or the Oakley. Both teams are red, Joel.
1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. Nice first play. Little play action from Gavin Draper. Handoff to the left side. And gets second level brought down, but not before a gain of about 8 to 7. And good first down. That's what you want when you're running game, Sean. Your first down run, get more than 5 yards. Easy to get first downs off that.
Yeah, just bring up about, a 2nd and 2, so good run. Start off with a pass, run. Only 2 plays, almost to the 50-yard line.
But the 37-yard line, 10:46 to go, second and about 3. Little option from Gavin Draper, tosses it. That's going to be number 15, Chase Smith, and Chase is chasing. Finally brought out of bounds, and he's going to cross the 50-yard line all the way to the 41. First down, Grace Grizzlies. So far, so good for their offense.
Offense firing all cylinders, run, pass.
Mixing an option there, quick handoff.
And, you know, the first drive of the season, get across the 50, you got to feel good about that.
Absolutely. You got to have some butterflies in this opening game. Okay, what is our offense going to do? If you're quarterback, what am I going to get this mesh point right? Am I going to get this throw right? Really like the decision to let Gavin throw on that first play when they were backed up. And it's been all Grizzlies so far since then, this drive. And the shotgun, another option, tosses it over. This time it's number 4, Braden Kimball. Had a great season last year, and he's tackled after about a gain of 7 again, Sean.
Yeah, offense, the Grizzlies kind of firing all cylinders right now.
So 2nd and 6, 9:43 to play. Ball on the 41-yard line. Beautiful night. Band's out, cheerleaders out, sun's right in our eyes. Grass is green.
Fortified position. They've got a lot of fence around the football field.
All the cars parked around. I love the small town 8-man football. Draper in the shotgun. Calls the man in motion. Gets the snap, rolls to his left. Passes just incomplete, just beyond the outstretched hand of Braden Kimball. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. First third down of the game, Sean.
Yeah, it's pretty much been 2 plays and a first down. So Grizzlies going to look at their first 3rd down of the season.
On a lot of going for it on 4th down, which makes, one of the reasons why we score so many points in 8-man, because it's mostly going for it on 4th. And how often do these guys get it? Pretty often. Single left. Draper's got a man behind him. He's got power right. Extra blocker. Blocker gets it. He's got his man a little bit open, and he's open. He's got it. And that is it. No, he's going to fall down off the catch.
Yeah, just a little short on the 2-point conversion, but still successful.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are...
Nice snap and booming punt there. My goodness. Special teams came to play for the Grizzlies, and that's going to go all the way. They almost get it. Almost get it inside the 5-yard line, but it looks like it did go to the end zone, Sean. Great effort there.
Yeah, almost right on the 1-yard line with that punt. I don't think Oakley was ready for such a deep punt.
With some of the technical difficulties hopefully cleared up, we got the audio back going, and we're back here. So Grace elects to punt, booming punt all the way. Almost a 60-yard plus punt there, Sean, 70-yard punt, and they almost get it inside the 5, but ball goes to the end zone, and Hornets will take over at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and it had a good roll. It almost felt like it was going to come towards us and kind of curled back into the field.
Oakley in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. It's going to be a throw. Goes over the top, and that's completed to number 11, and he's going to go all the way 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Oakley.
Tim short on that reception. Number 11 for Oakley. Got space. And that's a very long touchdown, Joel.
70-yard touchdown from Oakley as they go for the 2-point conversion. They're going to pass to the outside, and that's going to be good for the 2-point conversion. Oakley takes the lead.
The Hornets will take the 2-point lead with 9:58 left in the first half. We have a ball game once again.
Kind of see the picturesque background we got here with the mountains, the field. Just a great little football stadium here in Grace. My first time, Joel. I know it's not yours.
Yeah, beautiful community. Here last year for Oakley Grace in that opening round playoff matchup as they were getting to state. And Oakley took it to Cary, man. Or excuse me, Grace took it to Cary. It was a lot to little in that game, and that was the game that featured Gavin Draper at quarterback. Came in thinking it was going to be someone, and then it was somebody else. Gavin Draper, as the sophomore, came in and played just incredibly well for one of his first games starting. And not missing a beat so far in that first quarter. Came up short in the beginning of the second, and Oakley takes advantage as they hit a 70-yard touchdown to Short. Tim Short, that is, the senior wide receiver. He got just enough space, like Sean mentioned earlier. High point of that ball, stayed in bounds, ran all the way to that 70-yard touchdown, and the 2-point conversion good. So with 9:58 to play, here goes Oakley for the kickoff after going up 8-6.
And you look at that Grace roster, it's young for a football roster.
A squib kick. It's recovered. He gets outside. Nice big man running, runs into his own guy, but he's got blocker, he's got space, and he gets past the 50-yard line. Nice return there to answer on that touchdown from number 50, Carson Welch. The 6'1", 215 senior. Big boy running, Sean.
Once he got that momentum, speed, he came in like a wrecking ball, huh?
And that's why, lineman, you run sprints.
I see some good hills in the background they could run. And they're not hills, they're mountains, Joel.
Yeah, these are definitely mountains. Surrounded, Grace, in this beautiful valley, surrounded by some great places for these linemen to run, no doubt. So Grace will take over on offense after that nice return, crossing the 50. Draper in the shotgun. He's got a man right behind him. It'll be an option. Great read, nice tackle, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. Will lose a yard.
Colin Draper,
Gavin Draper.
Bridger Cotent, number 25 of Oakley on the tackle. Came in and kind of speared him. Oakley's really good at bringing in different players to fill those gaps. I've noticed as this game went on, they're going to give you a little misdirection on that defense and bring someone from that secondary line and try to get a tackle. Now we got it. Grace not able to kind of get the play in correctly and is going to elect for a timeout.
So Grace takes a timeout. That's the first one of the half. And we'll take a timeout with them. Let's recognize some sponsors.
All right. Again, for over 50 years, Hardy Farms in Oakley has been growing some of the best spuds in Idaho. Hardy Farms is a proud supporter of all the student athletes at Oakley High School and want to wish them good luck. Oakley Valley Stone, owned and operated by Jim and David Bunch, are located on Main Street in Oakley, is proud to support Hornets this year. Year in and year out. Good luck, boys, from Oakley Valley Stone.
So as we come out of the timeout, 9:07 to play in the second quarter, 8-6. Hornets take the lead off a 70-yard touchdown after a failed drive from the Grizzlies. But the Grizzlies are now on offense, 2nd and 11. And we have a whistle. Looks like a false start on the Grizzlies. So we didn't have much laundry, Sean, in that first quarter, but now two penalties in the second.
Yeah, it looked like the offensive line jumped a little early on that play.
Bring up 2nd and 16. Remember, one of the keys of the game from Grace was avoiding stupid penalties. You're going to have a hold here. You're going to have, kind of within the whistle penalties, but you want to avoid those penalties outside the whistle, the false starts, the illegal motions, those drive killers.
Yeah, with so much of this game being played in the the middle kind of area, it becomes very important, to get these drives going.
Draper with the shotgun gets the ball out, and that's going to be incomplete, just too far. Pass intended for number 4, Braden Kimball. And Kimball had his man, Draper had his man open. Kimball had a step, but just a little bit too far. Brings up 3rd and 16.
Yeah, big play here, because if you don't get the first down, you're in that kind of no man's land of 8-man football, right? Do we punt it or do we go for it on 4th down? But if you're able to get the first down, or maybe you look at it like 2 downs, we're going to get a few here and then a few on the 4th down. Nonetheless, got to come up with something.
We'll see what they draw up here. 2 receivers to the outside, both sides. Draper takes the snap. Pass outside is complete. He breaks a tackle. He's got room to run. 1 man to beat. Can he beat him? Will they call it a touchdown? They will not. He stepped out of bounds. He wanted it bad, but he steps out about the 3-yard line. Nice yards after catch from number 12, Cooper Anderson.
Cooper Anderson made quite a catch right in front of us here at about the 30-yard line and reeled it in, bounced off the defender, and nearly a touchdown.
Very similar to what Oakley did, but they were able to recover and tackle the Grizzlies right before the touchdown, but great yards after catch. Quarterback's got to love that from Cooper Anderson.
Yeah, in the Oakley defense, you got to be, you didn't give up the touchdown on that play. Really good hustle.
Draper under center. Man behind him. Blocker to his right. Hands it off. He follows his blocker. Will he get in? Touchdown, Grizzlies. So a 3-yard touchdown from Chase Smith makes it 12-8.
Yeah, number 15, Chase Smith, another one of those big guys. Okay, he's a 6', 210" junior. So you look at this Grace schedule or roster.
And they try to run it in, but they get tackled in the backfield, and that 2-point conversion is going to go for nothing. Oakley Hornets psyched after that 2-point conversion stop. But the Grizzlies claw back and take a 4-point lead with 7:53 to play.
Yeah, and if you're Oakley's defense, you're down, but you've come up with some big plays, right? You've stopped both 2-point conversions. You got that tackle on what could have been a touchdown pass. So Oakley's got a lot of small victories in that defense, even though they're down, but they're not down by much. 12-8 here in the second quarter.
So if you're just joining us, Grace strikes first in the first quarter with 7:51 to play. A touchdown throw from Draper to Hill. 2-point was no good, as Sean mentioned. And then in the second quarter, Oakley finally strikes with 9:58 to play. They hit a 70-yard touchdown, and the 2-point conversion is good. And then what we just saw, the second quarter, 7:53 to play, 3-yard touchdown run from Chase Smith. 2-point conversion again is no good from the Hornets. So leaving points on the board there, 4 points to be specific, Sean.
Yeah, and coming in this game, I thought we might be at a little more high scoring. But then if you go on IdahoSports.com, we've got previews of all the teams, all the divisions. They're just great there, IdahoSports.com. But on those previews, both teams really talked about the importance of defense, and we've had a little more defensive game here for an 8-man football game. Usually get a little more high scoring. So it's it's been very prevalent that both coaches have had emphasized defense coming into the summer, and both teams are kind of showing it right now.
And there's been some mistakes on both sides, but nothing significant. So you like to see that as a coach, that we're not scoring because of, poor decisions or boneheaded plays. We're not scoring because the defenses are playing really well. As we have another squib kick that is going to bounce out of bounds. It does. Almost gets the touchdown, but the Hornets will get a penalty in their favor as the ball bounced out about the 4-yard line. And they'll get out to the 35-yard line to start this drive. So decent field position to start for the Hornets offense.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Joel, the mistakes in like a first game, and me and you have both been a part of enough first games to see those kind of mistakes happen. And what you don't see that here tonight. You see two teams that are coached very well coming in, pretty much mistake-free besides just a couple penalties. But, no big snafus right now.
Yeah, Grace really appreciates the coaching from Oakley. They know they're coached up really well, and they're going to come bring it every game. Talk to their coaches pre-game, and they're really impressed with how Oakley comes in and year out with stellar teams, even when they graduate so many. As we have a toss to the outside, and he'll get a couple yards there. That's number 3 for Oakley. Cole Beck, their bell cow, getting most of the reps so far tonight.
Yeah, and you look at Oakley. I mean, they start off the season with a gauntlet, right? They're here in Grace. They're going to play Kendrick next week. So an Oakley team not afraid to go and play tough opponents.
Ball on 37-yard line, 2nd and 8, 7:20 to play in this first half. Throw to the outside, he's got his man wide open. That's number 71, missed tackle there. They're trying to bring him down. Takes 3 guys to bring down Oakley's number 71, Dallin Hardy. Playing that tight end role really well, Sean.
Yeah, what a great weapon. He's been outstanding. Hardy has on defense, and now coming in, and he's a big target. He's got to be the tallest guy out there.
No doubt. Big target, and hard to leave him open, but they did. He was open on that outside. And he gets a lot of positive yards.
Yeah, what he's doing really nice is he's settling in and getting the block and then breaking off for that pass route. And, he's a big body to get the block.
Ball on the 48, 1st and 10. Hornets in the shotgun. They hand it off. That's Beck again. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and they bring him down. Nice stop there from Grace on that first down run.
And if you've noticed throughout this game, there has not been much up the middle for either team. So you've really got to roll out, kind of look at the sidelines. The middle's been stuffed by both Grace and Oakley.
So Grace doing a good job replacing those Clegg brothers, as we've mentioned them a few times. Doing a good job pulling up the middle, both sides. Here come Hornets in the shotgun, hand it off again. He bounces, goes inside, outside. That's number 25 on the run, Bridger Conant.
I almost ate my words there, right? He almost broke through. He was one tackle away from making some noise.
He got through the middle, tried to bounce outside, but tackled at his ankles. So good second-level effort there from the Hornets, and also good second-level tackle from the backers. 3rd and 3, 5:57 to play, 45-yard line. On the Grizzlies side, let's see if the Hornets can strike here. Quarterback's going to take it himself, but he's got a couple guys he's got to beat. Nice stiff arm, but nothing going there. And number 15, Grizzlies, Chase Smith with the nice tackle despite the stiff arm from the quarterback.
Hey, Chase Smith did a nice job to make his way to the sideline. Saw the play developing. Timeout, Oakley.
And we'll take a timeout with them. 5:31 to play, 4th and 2. Oakley will take a timeout, and so will we. You're watching the East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Start. Welcome back to Grace High School East Idaho Game Night. 4th and 2. Here come the Hornets See what they draw up here. It's going to be a toss to the outside. He's got room to run, but here comes Grizzlies with the open field tackle, and he's got him before he can convert. Great first down saving tackle from 56 of the Grizzlies. Landon Moss, the 6'1 senior. He came out of nowhere, Sean.
Yeah, Landon Moss with some speed to fill that gap, and what a great tackle. That was definitely going to be on the road to a first down.
So Grizzlies will take over 1st and 10 on their own 45, 5:26 to play. They're leading this match 12-8 in the first half. Let's see if they can score before halftime. They'd love to get some more points on the board to extend that 4-point lead. And on that run, Hornets had room to run, but again, great tackle there. Open field tackle. Sprinted from the middle to the outside. Here comes Gavin Draper in the shotgun. Hands it off, up the middle. Broke a couple tackles, but eventually comes down.
Smith goes up the middle.
A nice run there from Smith.
Ball does come out after.
The ball did come out, but he was down before that occurred.
Shea Smith has run a few times, and that was run up the middle, Sean. So now the middle may be opening up a little bit as the offensive linemen get in their rotations, hit their zones well.
Grace calling for a little more speed on the plays here. They have an interesting call-in sheet. They got these numbered, you can see them in the bottom corner of the screen, these numbered. They look like sideline numbers, but I think they're calling in the play with them, so it's kind of interesting. Got a couple young kids doing that.
4:36 to play, 2nd and 5. Option right before getting tackled, and he had some space to run, but he just trips as he cuts inside. Again, number 15, Chase Smith, with another carry. So he's getting a few extra reps in this second quarter.
Yeah, almost blown up in the backfield, though. Good job to get rid of that ball just in time. And that's what you got to do on those options. You got to hold it, get the defense to commit to tackling you.
Takes a lot of guts if you're that quarterback, and Gavin Draper definitely has those. We've seen him play a few times, and he has no problem taking those licks as long as it means that they can get some positive yards off that option. Blocker to his left. And it's a little underneath there. Nice play there. Before he gets to the outside, breaks the tackle. He's at the 20-yard line, 15, breaks a few more tackles, making jukes, making moves, and gets almost to the 5-yard line. Makes something almost out of nothing there, Sean.
Kimball shaking bacon his way through the Oakley defense, but what a great play. Again, another one almost blown up in the backfield. Get the first down.
So a little bit of trickery. We all thought he was going outside, but he goes kind of inside to Braden Kimball, and Kimball shakes and bakes all the way to about the, what do we call that? On the 9-yard line.
Yeah, just slightly over that 10-yard line marker.
Draper in the shotgun. He's got Chase Smith behind him. Hands it off to Smith. Smith's got blockers. He's going to be in for 6. Touchdown, Chase Smith.
Chase Smith making noise to be that player of the game. Long game to go, whole nother half, but Grizzlies doing a good job on those 3rd downs and converting and getting the first down, so that was a great job.
So Chase Smith, 2 back-to-back touchdowns. The first one was a 3-yard run. Second one was that 9-yard run. Here they go for the 2-point conversion. Draper again in the shotgun. He's going to throw to right side. And that's going to be completed. I thought it was going to be picked off, Sean. There was 2 guys doing a quick cross route, but that's completed. And 2-point conversion is finally good for the Grace Grizzlies.
So their first 2-point conversion, successful. Nice job bringing it to 20-8 lead for Grace. Just 3 left to go in this opening half, opening season, opening week of Idaho high school football.
So Oakley goes up 8 8-6 after they scored their 2-point conversion. And since then, it's been all Grace as Grace gets 12 more points, going up 20-8. Significant swing there as Grace is potentially going into halftime, leading by 12. 3:01 to play in the second quarter.
Yeah, the second quarter has really been Grace. They've got it done on defense. I think that's where it started. They got some stops. They were able to get the ball back and give them the opportunity to get some scoring, which they've done to get this lead. And that conversion on third downs, I think, is big for Grace. They're going to go back and look, hey, we were able to get it down third and long, had some penalties, able to come up with some big plays when we needed it to switch the field and score.
And Grace's special teams have been no joke either. One really nice punt, good kickoffs, good kickoff returns. Maybe except for that first quarter one, Sean, but it didn't matter as they were able to score. But again, the broadcaster's curse, Sean, it is real and alive as they do a kind of a squib kick, goes out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So the Oakley Hornets are going to take over with some decent field position as this second quarter wraps up, 3:01 to play.
We've kind of seen all kinds of kicks, right? We've seen kind of a regular, we've seen some skid, we've seen some rollers. We've got a good clinic on what both teams have as far as kicking.
8-man football, not known too much for special teams, but when you have a good kicker, punter, good coverage, it can matter. When we talk about these high-scoring games, that could be the difference in these 8-man football games.
Yeah, as the sun sets here, it might be difficult to see.
Shotgun pass over the middle, and that's a pass to Dallin Hardy. He's got space to run, and here he comes, crosses over it to the middle, and will he go all the way? Tackled. Wow. And does he fumble the ball, Sean? He does. They call a fumble on that tackle. I thought maybe he had hit the ground. Hardy was going for another 70-yard touchdown, another 70-yard touchdown for the Hornets. Hardy was going to get his 70-yard touchdown. But as he cuts across the middle, he is tackled and drops the ball as he's being tackled. No ground cause fumble, Sean. Grizzlies ball.
It was David and Goliath, right? You had the big guy Hardy against. I couldn't quite see who it was for Grace, and he just tackled him. It looks like it was Kimball on that tackle.
Yeah, Braden Kimball.
From all the way back there and to cause the fumble.
Wow. So Draper, here he goes in the shotgun, 247. They're going to go deep, and it's going to go just too far for the tackler himself, Braden Kimball. Yeah, Braden Kimball made a touchdown-saving tackle, able to get that ball popped out, to get that ball to pop out of Dallin Hardy's hands, and almost gets a long reception. 2nd and 10, 2:43 to play.
Yeah, you're going to look at that. That could be the play of the game, right? You almost think for sure Oakley's going to score, bridge that gap of that lead with still time remaining. And right there with that big tackle and get the fumble caused, keeping points off the board for Oakley and giving Grace another shot before halftime.
Could have been another 12-point swing within 4. But nothing going there, so they're going to run up the middle here on 2nd down. A nice run there, just keeps moving. It keeps turning those legs as he bounces off tacklers. Nice run there from number 15, Chase Smith.
Picks up great yardage. That's going to bring up 3rd and short for the Grizzlies.
So 9-yard gain there for Chase Smith. 3rd and 1, 2:23 and counting to play. Ball on the 16-yard line. As we close out this second quarter. Here in Grace, Idaho, the home of the Grace Grizzlies. Beautiful scenery, as Sean has mentioned, as we get the play call in here for the offense. They look at their wristbands. Students looking on. Great crowd here tonight on both sides. Oakley travels well at that other side. Draper looks to the outside, takes the snap, fake handoff, play action to the near side. He throws, got a man wide open. That's number 3, and he's going to go for extra yards. 50, 40, 30. No one's going to catch him. Nice block there, 20. Oh, and they're going to call a flag. A block in the back.
Yeah, it's going to be a block in the back. That's going to be coming back.
Bryant Moss was gone. Probably didn't need that block.
No, it wasn't even near him. And those are the little things you were talking about, Joel, that coaches will not be excited for.
And Coach Newby is wondering why the call. It looked like he tried to block him to the side, but it was too much in the back there, Sean.
Yeah, this is.
And it's a penalty.
This is panning right where the sun is, so I couldn't quite see that, but the flag came out very quickly.
Unfortunate play there because Bryant Moss was gone. Really didn't need that block. Instead of a touchdown, Sean, it's going to be a penalty, block in the back, and they're going to start at the 31-yard line. So it's still a great yards after catch once again for these Grizzlies wide receivers.
Yeah, just if you're going to go back and look at this tape, you're going to see that the Grizzlies are running great routes. They're getting to the spots where the quarterback's looking, see the quarterback roll, and then they see the receiver where they're supposed to be. So great route running by Grace right now.
Draper's got blockers to his right. He pitches it just in time. And he's tackled after a nice game, but it looks like they're going to have a roughing the passer here, Sean, in the backfield, as Draper got taken down a little bit too much there. Extracurricular from the Hornets, and the Grizzlies are going to get a penalty for themselves.
And that's going to be costly because it's going to get you right into the red zone here. With 1:02 left to go, and the Grace coaches were saying get out of bounds, but when they were running, but it's going to be kind of inconsequential here because they're going to get the penalty. It's going to get them right into the red zone.
So after a pretty clean first quarter, almost first half of the first half, if you will, Sean, a few extra penalties as this game, as this first half is winding down. 1:02 to play. Grace leading 20-8. They're going to put him on the. They're going to put him on the 7-yard line. So Sean, almost a 30-yard swing there from penalty to penalty.
Yeah, you had almost a touchdown reception. You bring Grace back. You're making it a little more difficult. Then Oakley with the personal foul, bringing Grace right in striking zone.
48 seconds to play and counting. Draper takes the snap outside. It's caught. Touchdown. Who is that? But Braden Kimball once again, number 4. Just a quick play there. A quick snap, quick throw from Draper, and the Grace Grizzlies strike one more time.
And what I like is he rolls out with a purpose. Some quarterbacks roll out and they're not sure where they're going to go. When he rolls out, he knows exactly where he's going, what receivers to look for, and he's been finding them, especially when he's rolling to his right.
So Draper to Kimball for the 7-yard touchdown reception makes it 26-8.
Again, that fumble, just a huge shift in momentum in this game.
Draper in the shotgun's got 4 receivers. He throws the outside. Are they going to call pass interference? They will not. Incomplete. 15 wanted the flag. That's Chase Smith, but no flag. I like that 4 wide out, Sean, with 8-man football. That means you got, 3 blockers up front.
You know what it means? You got to throw a ball fast.
No doubt.
That's what it means. You got to get it out in a hurry. And
go ahead, Sean.
You just got to be careful with that. You don't want to get the quarterback smacked. You don't want to throw a pick, but nonetheless, Grace with the commanding lead here.
26-8. As you said, Sean, Grace scores with 41.3 seconds to play. 7-yard touchdown throw from Draper to Kimball. A really nice release from Draper. Sean, Draper's looking really good so far. Saw him play last season against Cary, and the ball just rips quicker. He looks older, looks more mature, looks stronger. His decision-making is quick. Those option plays are done quite well. And this is only the first game of the season.
Yeah, against a team you could see that late in the season, right? Oakley Hornets always strong defensively, so he's doing a good job bringing the defense and picking his spots. And yeah, just we talked about this on the East Idaho Prepcast, right? We're gonna you'll see me and Joel there every week, and we talked about a new year brings new players and brings that year of development.
Sean knowing full well that as he's a tennis coach at Century High School. Sees those players develop all the time. as they get older, stronger, and wiser. Another special teams goof there from the Grace Grizzlies. You know, I'm never going to compliment any more special teams again, Sean.
Well, I mean, I think at this point with the lead, maybe just kick it in the middle and see what you can do. But maybe they're just afraid of one of these quick guys for, the Hornets running it back. But you're giving them great field position with 41 seconds. You've got time here. You've got some timeouts to work with. A couple plays, you're right back in there.
We've seen how they can punt, so let's see more of that. Forget the tee. All right, Hornets take over 26-8. They are down by a lot. 40 seconds to play. Open throw to the outside. Plenty of room to catch and run, and he will get pushed out of bounds. Probably not what you want to do if you're the Grizzlies, but they do get the tackle. 32.7 seconds to play in this half. Nice throw there.
I think it was Beck on that catch.
Cole Beck, the running back, called his number a lot tonight.
Heads up to get that momentum going out of bounds, though.
Jackson Rice and at quarterback, number 10. They almost sack him, but he gets open. He's got plenty of green grass in front of him to run, and he gets out of bounds. Nice, smart decision there. And he'll get the first down and then some. 24 seconds to play. Hornets knocking on the door.
That Grace kind of brought the house. I guess you can bring the house in 8-man football, right? Kind of brought the house there. Didn't get the quarterback, and able to get a big chunk of yards on the legs.
The quarterback, Jackson Rice, hasn't been able to get much going tonight. He's had a couple good throws, but a lot have been short. But you can expect that in the first game of the season. Good heads-up play there, and Rice on the run. Some pressure comes again. He gets the ball thrown incomplete. Almost sacked there. Again, they brought pressure. That Grizzly defensive line doing work up front.
Good job by Jackson Rice to kind of jump up and get that ball out. Almost a completion. But, I mean, they make that completion. The clock's going to run. It's right in the middle of the field.
19 seconds to play in the first half. Jackson Rice in the shotgun. And he's got Cole Beck on his left hip. 2 receivers, top and bottom. 4 blockers, 8 men total. A drop throw, no good. Pass intended. I believe that was pass intended for Dallin Hardy, but there was another receiver, Cole Beck, in the vicinity.
Yeah, Dallin Hardy kind of trying to reach up, do a one-handed grab. He might have that capability.
As we mentioned, Dallin Hardy, the large tight end defensive end, 6'3", 175 senior. They've talked about him a lot on the 8-man football prepcast. We talked about him a little bit on the East Idaho prepcast. He's going to be that main cog for the defense and offense. They're going to bring that sack in finally. But it looks like a penalty flag is thrown. And they had 2-3 guys in on that sack, Sean.
Yeah, it was a group tackle for sure. I mean, he almost maybe give that sack to Derek Hill, number 6 of Grace, maybe the first one in on it.
So it looked like it was a face mask against the Hornets. Some of the folks here thought maybe it was against the Grizzlies as they came in and really gang tackled the quarterback, but it's going to be a face mask against the Hornets. So going from bad to worse there, sack plus the penalty with 9 seconds to go. In tough field position to score before the half, Sean.
Yeah, and Grace right now recognizing that Oakley's going to throw the ball and really bring the pressure and making the Hornets make mistakes, right? You know, either throwing it away, but in 8-man football, that pressure, when when you have a good indication they're going to pass, it's just so tough. Let's see if Oakley's going to just kind of play this out or go for something big. They got some wide receivers out there on both sides.
Yeah, knowing Oakley doesn't. I think they're going to keep going and trying to score here. Jackson Rice in the shotgun. Cole Beck to his right. He tries to throw, but no, can't get it. He gets tackled. Ball comes out live. And are they going to call it he was in throwing motion? No, they're not. That is a fumble. Grace Grizzlies football.
That was definitely close, right? If that throwing motion, but it's going to be a fumble. 2 fumbles for the Hornets now, really the difference. So 3.8 seconds left to go in the half. See if Grace draws up another big play.
You know, those big plays here, these are opportunities to practice. And, you know, sometimes we look at it as poor sportsmanship or, hey, you want to play it safe. But this is your opportunity to practice a big play in an actual game situation. And this is your chance to do that. Curious to see what they draw up here as they have 4 guys wide again. Trips to that left side. You know, you don't see trips too often in 8-man. Tripper calls the man in motion. 3-step drop. Steps up in the pocket. Throws the long bomb. He's got his man open, but just too far. That was Kimball was open, overshoots him, and that's going to be it for this first half of action. Grace Grizzlies come out 26-8. Guns a-blazing. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back for a halftime show. You're watching the East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com.
Idaho isn't your average state, and we are not your average people. We're not afraid to jump feet first, and we see the world a little differently. We know the importance of slowing down and the value of catching up. When we're not busy getting lost, we're looking out for one another. Our whitewater is aggressive, but our driving is not. We know all about taking chances, but we also know our limits. We drive safely because we care. It's who we are.
Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
This year, help dreams come true with the Ideal Idaho 529 Education Savings Program. Our easy-to-use tools make it simple to plan for your child's education. With tax benefits, ownership flexibility, Ideal is the perfect way to save for college, trade school, K-12 education, and student loan repayment. Join us at our next webinar to learn more about the 529 plan. Enrolling takes just 15 minutes, and you can start with just $25. Visit idsaves.org if you would like to learn more.
An Idaho-based credit union is leading the way in community initiatives and charitable partnerships. Recognizing a need for change, Lookout Credit Union underwent a major transformation to put its employees and their community first. Through 2 strong initiatives, Lookout Credit Union is ensuring a brighter future for its community. To find out more, visit www.lookoutcu.com.
At all our local Teton dealerships, we're committed to our no problem philosophy.
No problem means we'll find it, not we don't have it.
No problem means the same fair prices that we've always offered on our new vehicles.
Because when you shop with us, it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicles.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Welcome back to East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com here at Grace High School, opening week 1 of high school football here in Idaho, specifically here in East Idaho. Here at halftime, as the Grace Grizzlies are leading the Oakley Hornets 26-8. Let's give you a little recap of what's happened.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot of Grace and a little bit of Oakley. But, yeah, in the first quarter we have a TD throw. It was a short one to Derek Hill for Grace. Then that was only scoring opportunity in the first quarter for either team, and then it got a little more entertaining in the second quarter as Oakley answered back with Tim Short 20-yard pass. It was a nice pass, nice run, and their two-point conversion was good, and that's where it kind of ended for Oakley. You had, again, Grace coming back with a nice run of plays to get down the field for a 3-yard Chase Smith run, two-point conversion, no good. And then after a fumble, the Grizzlies get the ball back and get another 9-yard Chase Smith running touchdown with 2 points. Good. And then you have a great pass with just a little bit of time left in the second half, 41 seconds, 7-yard pass, Draper to Kimball, and again, the 2-point conversion was no good. So most of the offense generated in this first half is coming from Grace, and as we talked about the offense, Joel, I'm going to point out the defense. The defense of Grace is what stood out to me. Their defense has been phenomenal. They've been able to get some 3-and-outs or some punts, fourth down stops from Oakley, and they've caused 2 fumbles were just huge in that first half and really made the difference and made Oakley kind of have to go to more of a throwing-based offense, and Grace's defense was able to get some sacks, really put the pressure on in this 8-man football game.
And that fumble for Dallin Hardy, he was gone, Sean. He was about to score. He cuts to the middle of the field for good reason, but Braden Kimball comes out of nowhere, continues to pursue, tackles him, and as Dallin Hardy is falling down, he causes that fumble, and that was that touchdown-saving fumble that Sean mentioned. Huge momentum swing. Momentum was already in Grace's favor, but if Oakley scores there and they get the 2-point conversion, again, they're only down 4, and we've seen Oakley score in the past. They can score quickly and score in bunches. So that could have been the game-saving fumble tackle by the Grace Grizzlies, Braden Kimball.
Yeah, Dallin Hardy, it was about a 50-yard run. It was you pretty much thought it was for sure a touchdown. And like I said before, he kind of David versus Goliath, and he came in, Kimball did, and just took him down and popped the ball loose. It was hard to see. I don't even know how to get the ball. Hardy's 6'3", so Kimball had to pop in there and reach it, but it was just good effort and speed on that tackle, not giving up on the play. I think that's been a huge difference for Grace, not giving up on plays. They're really playing until that whistle blows, and it's made the difference. But hats off to their defense. And for Oakley, their defense played well for the first part. It's just the offense hasn't been really able to get it going and getting into the red zone. They've just been stopped. But Oakley's defense also coming up big, getting some stops. Really, like we talked about, that difference is those 2 turnovers at this point, those 2 fumbles. I mean, the second fumble not as big as it came towards the end of the half, but that first fumble really is the difference. And both coaches talked about how defense was going to be important in that turnover battle, and right now Grace is winning it.
Yeah, Grace, let's go back to their keys to the game. Grace wanted to know their alignment and their assignments every play on offense. They wanted to be disciplined, and they wanted to do their job. And that third point, Sean, on defense, they're definitely doing their job. Everyone's hitting their assignments and then making that extra effort. I've heard the phrase, football is beautiful when everyone plays to the whistle. You play even through the whistle. Obviously, no penalties, nothing, unsportsmanlike. But when everyone's doing their assignment and playing to the whistle, you're finishing blocks, finishing tackles to the whistle. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah, you've seen it from both teams where you think it's going to be a touchdown, and Oakley's come up with a tackle right before the touchdown marker. So both teams doing a good job. We've had a lot of plays where you think initially it's going to stop and someone bounces out or they get free. It's really that almost second or third hit that's bringing people down in this game. And right now Grace getting a few more of those done in the second hit and not that third hit.
Some of the key players for Oakley that may be a difference in their deficit. Coy Jones, remember, he's the wide receiver DB. He's out with injury. And then you got Jackson Rice playing quarterback. Sean, he's only a sophomore, but he is healthy. He's been healthy so far, but he's been pressured late in that second quarter. And he made some good decisions, but then he was also sacked that time and lost that ball, and or he was sacked, and it's been some tough sledding for him in that late in that second half. But so far, okay for Jackson Rice, I would say. But they're definitely missing Coy Jones, that nice target at wide receiver. That's why they've had to go to Dallin Hardy so many times, and to their running back Cole Beck.
Yeah, Jackson Rice. It's tough when you have to switch, and the defense definitely knows. Well, has a good indication that you're going to be throwing the ball, and then Grace is zoning in on that and really making it difficult for Rice to get going, and they're making the time short, right? They're not giving him time to do it. He's got a couple seconds, and if he doesn't get that ball in a couple seconds, they're in trouble. And so, at halftime, make some adjustments, maybe look at some more play action, get people in motion. A lot of times Rice is sitting a little too much in that pocket with just that smaller line. I think you maybe got to roll him out, use his legs. We see Rice had a big run in the second quarter after almost being sacked. So maybe give him a little more option to run the ball if he sees the hole.
I like those adjustments from Oakley. Let's see if they do roll him out a little bit, let him run, let him use his legs, put a little backyard loose football. Look, you're down 26-8. Maybe it's time to let your quarterback just make some plays in this 8-man football. So what can Grace do, Sean, as they respond, as they are up 26-8? What can they do maybe a little differently to extend this lead and also keep that quarterback from running free and maybe making those adjustments?
Well, I think they're just going to continue doing what they've done. They filled the A gaps very well. Their linebackers have either stayed back or went in. They haven't over-rushed. I think that's made a difference. If Grace continues to do that, it's going to be very difficult. Been impressed with the Grace secondary, but the linebackers in the line doing a good job of putting the pressure and taking time away. If they make it difficult and take time away, they're going to have a good chance of winning this football game. But if Oakley's able to, mix it up a little bit, that's going to be the difference. How do you adjust? You can't imagine you're just going to come out, and if we play exactly the same, it's going to have the exact same result, right? So I think Grace just has to keep up that defensive pressure and keep converting on third downs. If Grace keeps converting on third downs, I think they'll be in the driver's seat.
Well, I think that's going to do it as we have 4 minutes until the third quarter. The second half starts. Again, week 1 matchup. Oakley Hornets visiting the Grace Grizzlies, but so far Grizzlies clawing everything out of the Hornets, leading 26-8. Thanks for joining us for this East Idaho Game Night halftime show. We'll take a quick break, thank a few of our sponsors, and be back for the second half. You're watching East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com.
This year, help dreams come true with the Ideal Idaho 529 Education Savings Program. Our easy-to-use tools make it simple to plan for your child's education. With tax benefits, ownership flexibility, Ideal is the perfect way to save for college, trade school, K-12 education, and student loan repayment. Join us at our next webinar to learn more about the 529 plan. Enrolling takes just 15 minutes and you can start with just $25. Visit idsaves.org if you would like to learn more.
An Idaho-based credit union is leading the way in community initiatives and charitable partnerships. Recognizing a need for change, Lookout Credit Union underwent a major transformation to put its employees and their community first. Through 2 strong initiatives, Lookout Credit Union is ensuring a brighter future for its community. To find out more, visit www.lookoutcu.com.
At all our local Teton dealerships, we're committed to our no problem philosophy.
No problem means we'll find it, not we don't have it.
No problem means the same fair prices that we've always offered on our new vehicles.
Because when you shop with us, it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicles.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
It's not don't start.
Idaho isn't your average state, and we are not your average people. We're not afraid to jump feet first and we see the world a little differently. We know the importance of slowing down and the value of catching up. When we're not busy getting lost, we're looking out for one another. Our whitewater is aggressive, but our driving is not. We know all about taking chances, but we also know our limits. We drive safely because we care. It's who we are.
Wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Welcome back to East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com. We're here in Grace, Idaho, beautiful Grace, Idaho, home of the Grace Grizzlies, where they are leading the Oakley Hornets 26-8. A lot of Grace football in the first half, I should say offense in the first half. We talked about at halftime, what can Oakley do? What adjustments can they make? We'll see if Oakley can make those adjustments or they make even better adjustments than what we suggested and can cut this lead and keep themselves in this ball game. Oakley Hornets picked as a top team, I believe it was number 2, Sean, by coaches and media. And Oakley was, number 3 in the Week 1 media poll from Idaho Sports, and the coaches poll tied for first, while the Grace Grizzlies were tied for first in the coaches poll for their conference and number 5 in the Week 1 media poll for the entire classification. 2A, that is. And we'll see if that changes after this game tonight, but still a second half to play as Grace kicks off. The ball stays in bounds. They take it about the 15-yard line. Tackler's pursuing, and he will get about 10 yards on that run. More so east-west than north-south there. And they will start with 1st and 10, 11:53 in the third quarter at the 28-yard line.
Definitely the best really kick for Grace, right, for the game.
Yeah, since that punt, that is the best kickoff that they've had.
It's putting Oakley a little deep into their territory to start. A pretty big drive, I think, here for Oakley to get some points going here in the third quarter. I think this is kind of a key drive for them.
No doubt, as they're down 26-8, you get some positive momentum going here. You get a stop on defense, and you can make it a one-score game. Jackson Rice with Cole back to his right hip. He throws it. Nice one-handed catch, but the hit stick is put on number 11, Tim Short. The senior one-handed catch, Sean, and he's hit immediately after the catch, but a nice little 5-yard catch there.
Yeah, Tim Short's been kind of one of the best offensive players for Oakley so far in this game, and I would still look for him to go to him a lot. But a good tackle by Grace, not to get any yards after the catch.
They kept Jackson Rice in that pocket as he goes again, and he'll take it himself up the middle. Nothing going. Tries to hit that B gap, but nice defensive line stop there, and he's going to go nowhere, and that's going to bring up 3rd and about 5 for the Hornets.
Yeah, Derek Hill, number 6 for Grayson on the tackle. And also Trevor Matthews, 56 for Grace. Good job to fill that hole.
We talked about in the first half how both of, especially Grace's defensive line, both lines have been doing pretty well plugging up that middle. And that ball is going to be thrown to the outside. Had his man open on a little comeback play, but the ball is just off target for Jonathan Hines. That's going to bring up 4th and 5 with 10:44 to play. Sean, you're in. You don't have great field position. What do you do here?
I think they've got a punt at this point. Oakley does, but just going back to that play, the receiver is open, the ball too short. I mean, even if he catches it, maybe gets the first down. If get that ball a little more in front of him, he's got a first down. But they're going to punt. Oakley is.
So a 3 and out for the Hornets, and that punt goes very short. It was high and takes a Hornet bounce, luckily. because it would have been barely a 10-yard punt, Sean, but gets to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, so what, a 25-yard punt maybe?
Yeah, ball just it was too high on those laces and didn't get it off his toe enough. Goes too high, not far. But it does take a bounce and gets to the 50-yard line. But timeout Hornets, after that play, they're going to get that defense settled. And we'll take a timeout and recognize some sponsors.
Yeah. Step into Clark's Shopping, your friendly neighborhood grocery store in Oakley. Clark's is the place to go in Oakley for all your grocery needs, produce, dairy, and now hot stuff pizza needs. Clark's is celebrating 100 years of service to their many friends and neighbors this year, enjoying their hometown charm and personalized service today. For the entire friendly staff at Clark's for shopping, good luck, Hornets.
26-8, and the Grizzlies take over on offense after a very short punt. And the Grace Grizzly home crowd being treated to a good game from their hometown team, up 26-8. Everyone's out here, family, friends, cheerleaders, band, as the offensive line moves before the snap, and that's going to be 5 yards back, a false start. But a good atmosphere as the sun goes down. Now, folks, you can actually see the picture. Sean was doing his best to get that sun out of there, but no doing it. But finally that sun goes down behind the mountains. The cool air comes in, and it's a beautiful night for football.
Yeah, and if you're going to say the only kind of negatives for Grace right now is a few penalties, really.
Draper in the shotgun hands it off to Beck, and he knocks his tackler over. That's number 15, Chase Smith, not Beck. Excuse me, Beck is on the Hornets. And Chase Smith, the bell cow tonight for the Hornets, knocks over his tackler, and he's going to take a well-deserved rest after that run.
I mean, the crowd loved it when you get a runner just going downhill like that. It gets everyone pumped up. Grace putting those scorecard play calling markers into play.
Brings up 2nd and 3, 9:40 to play on the 43-yard line after that Chase Smith run. Another run up the middle. That offensive line creating holes, this time for number 9, Bryant Moss, the 5'10 junior. He's listed as a wide receiver, but he hit that hole fast, Sean. Talk about running downfield, downhill.
Yeah, and I like what Grace is doing here. They're kind of a quick strike offense in that first half, and now they've done a little more in ball control here and run the clock.
And I really like those handoffs. That mesh point from Draper is really tight. Everything is faster. You talk about they're starting to slow things down and running that football a little bit more. It's working as they've had some nice holes up front, but that mesh point is very tight and quick from Draper to his backs. Draper puts a man in motion. It's going to be an option. Short field here for number 12. He breaks the tackle and gets one more yard there, so nice yards after the run for Cooper Anderson, the 6-foot junior, also listed as a wide receiver. So a lot of these wide receivers get a lot of running time, especially on those options.
You know, there's a lot of mouths to feed here in Grace.
8:30 to play, 26-8. Grace leads Oakley. Ball on the 34-yard line, 2nd and 9 after a 1-yard gain. Crowd getting into it with the help of the cheerleaders.
There's a good cheer from the cheerleaders.
Draper in the shotgun. Blocker to his right, running back behind him. Fake handoff, play action. He goes long downfield, got a man open, and that's incomplete. Had a man open for a second, but great recovery from the Hornets backfield, their secondary. Kimball was open there, but great recovery from number 11 on Oakley, Tim Short.
Tim Short had a chance almost for a pick there. Nice job on the defensive side for the Hornets. And they'd like nothing more to get a stop here.
3rd and 9. They're definitely in 4-down territory. So we'll see what they draw up here to maybe get it 4 or 5 yards to put themselves in position for a 4th and short. Blocker to his left side. Single coverage at the top of your screen. It's a fake pitch, another under handoff to the outside. Can he get the first down? He does. That's the number 9, Bryant Moss. And are they going to move the sticks? They are going to move the sticks. First down, Grizzlies.
So again, I feel like I've said this a bunch, but 3rd downs, Grace Grizzlies just dominating those 3rd downs, extending drives and giving them some scoring opportunities.
So Grizzlies wait for the sign from the sideline. 7:27 and counting to play, leading 26-8 on the 22-yard line. After that little trickery play, that's the second time they've run that play, and it's worked both times. Draper under center. A bevy of linemen, another handoff across the middle, and he's going to get 10-5, almost in, but tackled out of bounds. Trying to get some love to Bryant Moss, who's been running the ball a lot this second half. Almost scores. And another kind of fake handoff to the left and underneath handoff to that right side, Sean.
Yeah, the Grace has done a good job getting out to the edges, and Oakley being present and thinking about that middle of the field, but having a hard time closing down the edge right now for Grace.
Oakley dangerous on that outside. They've had throws, runs that have all gone well to that right side, that short field working really nicely for them. Draper and his men lined up with that power to the right. Handoff, and they go left, and it's going to be no gain. Nice defensive stop there from the Hornets. Will bring up 2nd and 3. Should say 2nd and goal there for the Grizzlies.
Nice tackle by 21 Jones of the Hornets. Stopping them right in the tracks, and that's been the other thing is Grace has been able to bounce off, get Oakley to miss on the tackles. So if Oakley can get that first contact and bring him down, it's going to be a big help.
Draper under center. Chase Smith behind him. Fake handoff to Chase Smith. He's got a man open across the middle. Touchdown, Grizzlies. 3-yard throw. That's to Brian Moss, who has been the player of this drive, Sean.
Yeah, you get a little Moss action to start the 3rd quarter, and it results in a touchdown.
So with 5:46 to play, a 3-yard touchdown throw from Draper to Moss after Moss had a number of great runs there.
Like, and not too many things to say that Grace hasn't done well, but one would be converting these 2-point conversions. They haven't been that successful, so let's see what they can do here.
They got 4 wide, man in motion, and Draper's going to take it himself. Will he be able to get a nice spin move? Will he get in? He will. 2-point conversion is good. So with the 4 wide, Draper uses the middle that was not clogged up for the first time tonight and gets it in for 2 more.
Yeah, it was a nice job of putting all the receivers out there, and Grace has done a good job on those short passes, but this time opted to run it, quarterback run, and worked out very well. Almost stopped, though, but not enough.
Yeah, nice spin move there from Gavin Draper to avoid that tackler who, like you said, had him almost at the 1-2 yard line, but pushes just enough to get in from that spin move for 2 more. 34-8, Grace Grizzlies dominating the Oakley Hornets with 5:46 to play in this 3rd quarter as we get set to kick off after that touchdown and 2-point conversion. Again, 3-yard touchdown from Draper to Moss as Moss came across the middle. Moss made a move, beat his man. Draper saw him, hit him for 6.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think it's been a year or 2 since I've broadcasted a 8-man football game, but you kind of have to remember you have to key in on certain things with eight men. You've got to take some risks on defense and key in. So Grace is doing those things right. You know, Oakley's probably going to have to take some risks here to get back in this game.
Here comes Grace Grizzlies on the kickoff, and it's going to be a line drive. Oakley Hornets receive it out about the 15-yard line. Nice tackle, nice move. And finally met at about the 35, and he'll be brought down. So nice kick, nice return to start this Oakley Hornets offensive drive.
Yeah, Oakley's going to have to find a way to get through this Grace defense here, and they've got to start now. Because now time is an enemy for them. I know there's still 5 and 37 and change here to go in the third quarter, but time becoming an issue. Oakley just not finding the rhythm on offense.
In an 8-man football, that clock seems to roll a lot faster. And so like you say, time is their enemy right now. Oakley would love a quick strike, maybe try to get Dallin Hardy open as he was in the first half. Maybe some crossing routes and let your quarterback run a little free. They decide to fake the handoff. Almost an RPO there. He takes the run himself, and he's stuffed. Looks like a loss, Sean, of about 1 yard. Brings up 2nd and 11.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that wasn't a broken play or not, because it did kind of look like they were running a little RPO, run pass option, but it kind of looked like the running back wanted to take it.
They got kind of stuck at the mesh point. 2nd and 11. Jackson Rice is going to be a throw. He tries to stiff arm, and he's going to be brought down at the 21-yard line. Huge sack from the Grace Grizzlies defense.
And it's Derek Hill again in on a big play for that sack.
Derek Hill, defensive end and wide receiver. We've called his name a few times on offense, but having a great night on defense. Making sure that Jackson Rice remembers his name.
Well, yeah, you know, you get a touchdown pass, you get a sack. I mean, what a stat line for Hill.
Here we go, 4 wide, 3rd and 20. Got to get something going here. A quick throw to the tight end. That's a big boy. And they key in on him, and they just get back to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up 4th and 10. And Sean, decision time here. As you said, time is of the essence. Almost 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. Looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, I think you gotta go for it. Well, you don't have to, but at this point in the game, you've got to make something happen.
Even though these are two-way foes, the top of the heap. And it's a bad snap. Ball on the ground.
I think it's going to be a timeout.
Oh, okay, timeout.
Or something. Dead ball.
So it was a false start on Oakley, so it was a dead ball. So from 4th and instead of 4th and 10, 4th and 15, after a nice play there from Dallin Hardy to get them to 4th and 10, they'll have to go a little bit further. 3:45 to play, and now they will punt. That's unfortunate for Oakley, who had made it accessible to maybe get that first down. Nice punt there and gets a nice Oakley Hornets bounce to about the 39-yard line. So super unfortunate, Sean, that false start just kills them. As we talked about, penalties can kill your momentum, can kill the ball game for you. And they go from 4th and 10 to 4th and 15, have to punt.
Yeah, and you know, maybe it was a blessing in disguise now because they're going to push Oakley back a little bit if they don't get that 4th down. But yeah, definitely a hard penalty right there. You know, being down, you want to give your offense the opportunity to go out and do something big.
So Draper still in the ball game at quarterback. Continuing to command this offense with poise and quickness. 4 receivers wide, 3 guys up front to block for him. Looking for something. He fumbles the ball, and Oakley Hornets look like they have it.
Ball comes loose.
And they come up with it. So Draper fumbles the football on a quarterback keeper. And Hornets will take over at their own 40-yard at the Grace Grizzlies 40-yard line. So nice change of events, Sean.
Yeah, number 1, Jonathan Hines of Oakley comes up with that fumble. But nice job. Oh, this is just what Oakley needed.
3:20.
Right?
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, they haven't been on this side of the field for quite a while, so here we go.
3:26 to play. Grizzlies lead 34-8. But Hornets with a little bit of life. They hand the ball up the middle. But that defensive line is still there, Sean, and they ain't going nowhere until that clock says 0. Another big stop from the Grizzlies defense.
We got 62 Case Williams and 22 for Grayson on that tackle.
So far tonight, Grace, again, we've said this a few times on the broadcast, Grace doing a good job of replacing those Clegg brothers. Another iffy handoff there at the mesh point, but they do get some positive yards, and that'll bring up fourth and 8.
Come off his block and make a tackle after a short game. That's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
Oh, 3rd and 8, excuse me. 3rd and 8 with 2:33 to play.
Joel wanted to shortchange him down.
Apologize, Hornets. 3rd and 8. That clock is rolling, though. They got to score now. Jackson Rice in the shotgun. Running back to his right hip. Receiver at the top of your screen. He throws the running back, but he did not know that ball was in the air. It was a good idea from the quarterback. Had his guy open, but the running back was still on his route, Sean.
Yeah, he had no idea the ball was even out and just unable to make any adjustment to catch it. It was on target, just miscommunication there, a miscue of some sort.
So that is, I don't know if that's broadcaster curse or just, whatever that was. But now it is 4th and 8, Sean. And Hornets will obviously elect to keep it and try to see if they can get a first down and keep that breathing room open. Quick drop, throw to the far side across hash marks. And that is incomplete. Receiver taps his chest, says, my bad, that's on me. And turnover on downs. Grace Grizzlies will take the ball with 2:08 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, if he would have ran out, toward the sideline, I think that catch was completed. Just a little miscommunication on where that pass is going to go.
And would you think this miscommunication, first game of the season, comes from that lack of experience, right? Hornets are replacing 12 seniors, and someone's got to step up. Someone's got to lead that team, starting with that quarterback. But it might take a few games to get that rhythm going for the Hornets. They're a great football club, and no doubt they will figure that out. But so far, it's been all Grizzlies most of this game as they run up the middle for a couple-yard gain. Ball carrier. Well, 6-yard pickup for Chase Smith. There he is, number 15. Just had to go a little bit further down the list there.
Yeah, and just touching on that, Oakley maybe a little miscommunication, but you have to give credit to the Grace defense for putting pressure on. They put a lot of pressure on. Now Oakley's defense needs to put the pressure on to get the ball back here.
And that was good man defense on that 4th down stop. Ball thrown up the middle. Dangerous throw, but he's going to break tackles, and he's going to be gone. 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Who else but number 5? Braden. Oh, was that number 4, Sean?
I think that
number
was
6
is Derek Hill.
Derek Hill. My goodness.
Sacks, 2 touchdown, receiving touchdowns, Derek Hill.
So about a 70-yard touchdown throw, we'll call it. With 1:15 to play in the 3rd quarter, Draper throws it over the middle. A bit dangerous. You can hear some of the coaches up here, some of the crowd hold their breath. In double coverage, he pulls it down and runs free to 6.
Yeah, put the dime down right up the middle.
A toss to the outside, and he's going to get in. Indeed, for another 2 points, and that makes it 42-8. It has become a rout all Grace in this week 1 matchup, as the Hornets have no answer for this Grace offense.
Yeah, Moss with the 2-point conversion there for Grace. Moss has had it's been Moss's third quarter here. He's done a great job, but yeah, that throw up the middle, dangerous throw. There's a lot of hands, not a big window to make it, but nice throw and great run. Again, a run after the catch. That second play, or that second part of the play, is where Grace has really flourished tonight. Of first contact, first touch, and then making something happen after.
So that's 2 touchdowns to Derek Hill. Both those were throwing touchdowns. We didn't get the yards in the first one, Sean, but the second one, 70 yards.
The first one was about 5 yards.
It was like a 5-yard throw.
Super close.
Right. Okay. We're going to call it 5, folks.
And he had a sack, a pretty big sack earlier in the third quarter. So he'll filling up the stat line if you have that on your bingo card here.
So 42-8, 1:15 to play. Of course, the clock does not roll because we're not quite at that 45-point lead, thanks to my friends up here in the press box keeping us honest. I was thinking we might have a running clock at this point, but it's got to be that 45-point lead. But I don't know, Sean, if anyone besides maybe the Grace Grizzlies football team expected to be up by this much in this week 1 matchup, as the kickoff goes nowhere for the Oakley Hornets.
Yeah, I think this game coming in, you had a lot of question marks, right? You kind of knew Oakley was retooling, and you knew Grace had a lot of young talent stepping up, and which one was going to kind of take over. And right now it's the Grace with 1 more year of experience under their belt tonight.
And that experienced quarterback, again, Gavin Draper, that matters. We talked about this in the East Idaho Prepcast, Sean. When you have that experienced quarterback who's been there before, who's comfortable handing that ball off, making the reads, it means so much in this week 1 game. And they're showing that as they lead 42-8, and not just running plays. Draper's been throwing the ball all over the place and making good decisions. A nice throw to the outside. Tries to make a couple guys miss, but they stay assignment sound and they tackle him about at the sticks. And they will give them the first down. 1st and 10 Oakley, they do.
Tim Short again on the catch. That's been a successful play, is going to the outside on the right side for the Hornets. Short kind of cuts back and comes to the receiver, and that's been one of their more successful offensive plays.
Rice in the shotgun with a man to his left. Hands the ball off. Trying to get past that line of scrimmage, but can't get there, even though he's able to get to the outside, bounces the outside, but can't get back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll bring about a half-yard loss, so 2nd and long. 20 seconds to play in the third quarter. And we have a stoppage in the play. Looks like we have an injury on the field. Hopefully he's okay. If you're Oakley, you've had some positive moments. We're talking Tim Short, obviously Dallin Hardy at the tight end. Bridger Conant has had some good plays. And Jackson Rice a little bit tricky, a little bit iffy in that mesh point, handing off to Cole Beck, but they've had some good plays too, stuff that you can build on.
Yeah, they've got weapons, right? There's no doubt the Hornets have weapons, and as the season goes on, they're going to be able to get those things dialed in, and it's going to be pretty dangerous because it's pretty apparent. You can see Oakley Hornets and their weapons they have out on the field. Grace, just a little better on the defensive side of the ball tonight, and it's kind of making all the difference.
And that's number 15. It looked like he was just cramping up for the Grace Grizzlies, Chase Smith. He's had an amazing game tonight. Hats off to that senior as he comes off and takes a break. Hopefully he's okay, but we'll keep going. 19 seconds to play in the third quarter. 9 players in the field, and now we're at 8 for the Grizzlies. Hornets in the shotgun, takes the snap, throws long. And good coverage there from Grace. You know, the DBs, Sean, have been excellent tonight for Grace. A few mishaps, but you can expect that in game one. But for the most part, they've been assignment sound all night.
Yeah, I mean, only one big passing play, and that was mostly from, yards after the run. It resulted in a fumble for the Hornets, but Grace able to keep it pretty manageable, not letting any big play opportunity for Rice and company.
So 3rd and 11, 9 seconds to play in the third quarter. Rice in the shotgun, and he's got Cole back to his right hip. Single coverage to the outside. Almost gets sacked. It's going to be quarterback keeper. Breaks a couple tackles, gets the outside, runs over a tackler, but finally tackled by that same tackler. Tried to run him over, but tackler stayed strong. And he gets about 5 yards. It will bring up 4th and about 5. And that ends the third quarter. Grizzlies leading 42-8. We'll take a quick break and bring you the final quarter of this week 1 matchup. Grace Grizzlies, all Grace Grizzlies so far tonight. We'll be right back. You're watching the East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com.
This year, help dreams come true with the Ideal Idaho 529 Education Savings Program. Our easy-to-use tools make it simple to plan for your child's education. With tax benefits, ownership flexibility, Ideal is the perfect way to save for college, trade school, K-12 education, and student loan repayment. Join us at our next webinar to learn more about the 529 plan. Enrolling takes just 15 minutes and you can start with just $25. Visit idsaves.org if you would like to learn more.
Welcome back to East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com here at Grace High School in Grace, Idaho, where the Grace Grizzlies are dominating the Oakley Hornets 42-8. As we begin the 4th and final quarter of this game tonight, we'll see if the Oakley Hornets can convert on this 4th and 5. Great playing from the band, and here comes this play. Jackson Rice in quarterback. Looks like they're calling the audible as Dallin Hardy moves to the right side. Puts the hand down. Rice takes the snap. And a flag on the play, and he's going to be sacked. So the problem's compiling for the Hornets. And I wonder if they're going to call either a false start or a delay of game.
Yeah, false start. And you could kind of smell it brewing. They had, they shifted, they moved, they went to shotgun. The Oakley Hornets did. You kind of could smell it coming there.
So the Grace Grizzlies, they decline the penalty. They will take over on downs as the Hornets cannot convert their 4th and 5. So 11:55 to play. Grizzlies lead 42-8 in the 4th quarter. And a win for the Grace Grizzlies would be huge tonight, as the Oakley Hornets has been a perennial team, and both teams perennial powerhouses in this classification. But you win this game tonight, and you go get some great momentum going into the rest of the season. We'll talk about what teams are coming up next for both these teams in the next few weeks. Handoff up the middle. That's number 9. Nice run from Moss. Breaks the tackle and tries to get through that ankle breaker. Eventually he's tackled. Another great run from Bryant Moss. But as we go throughout the season, Sean, Max Preps rankings, that's what matters. That's what gets you win your, if you can't win your conference, you get that large bid and your place based on those Max Preps rankings. You beat a team like Oakley Hornets, that's going to look good. That's going to boost your points, your ranking. And so getting that first win tonight is huge. Handoff. Tries to go up the middle, bounce to the right side. Doesn't get much there. That's number 19, Dylan Wood. First time we've called his name, a freshman running back / linebacker.
Yeah, and, way to kill the mood, Joel, by talking about Max Preps. Had a great night of football. No, I'm just joking with you, but yeah, all this will matter on playing an important role in the season. You don't have a game where you can take a game off anymore with that ranking system. You've got to be mindful of what you do and how the scores end up and all those aspects.
I've been just too positive tonight. Had to bring down the mood just a little bit.
I mean, it's a tool that we use, and that's what we got to go with.
Another fake pitch, but inside a handoff from Gavin Draper. He does that fake pitch really well. He sells it, throws his arms way out, and then hands it off just perfectly. Again, it's like they've done this for a few years now, which they have, and that means a lot. And Brian Moss will come off. Looks a little hobbled. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, a lot of misdirection, right? You just got to get people to bite in 8-man football. Make sure you're hitting those points. But Grace has done a good job of not giving up what they're doing. They've made it very hard to kind of seek out what's going to happen in the play.
So 9:47 to play in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 4 on the 19-yard line. Grizzlies hoping to get one more. There's a flag down, though, and they're going to call delay of game on the Grizzlies. And so it's going to become a 3rd and 9 for the Grizzlies offense as the clock continues to roll.
And then that's one you're probably not too upset about. You're trying to get that clock to run down. You're not, going for a touchdown throw right on the first play of this drive. So just, smart heads-up stuff by Grace. Of course, you never want a penalty, but it's not hurting you right now.
And Coach Newby, there's no play clock here. So Coach Newby's probably maybe counting in his head, all right, let's give it some time, and probably just miscalculated that. Timeout from Grace Grizzlies. Let's recognize our sponsors one more time who are making tonight's game possible for you all.
For over 50 years, Hardy Farms in Oakley has been growing some of the best spuds in Idaho. Hardy Farms is a proud sponsor of all student athletes at Oakley High School and want to wish them good luck. Oakley Valley Stone, owned and operated by Jim and David Brunch, are located on Main Street in Oakley, is a proud to support the Hornets year in and year out. Good luck, boys, from Oakley Valley Stone.
Thanks to all our sponsors who have made this game possible. Really appreciate you all. If you'd like to advertise on IdahoSports.com, hit us up. Send us an email. We'll get you your name, an ad on your favorite team, on the website, on a game. Happy to get your names out there and bring you these great football games. Draper with a high snap, and he runs to the left side. That's going to be a hold in the backfield. Nice run there from Draper and goes out of bounds. But that play is going to come back. Oh, excuse me, not a hold, but an illegal shift on the offense. So to bring up 3rd and long for the Grizzlies offense. So as the second half was rolling, we've come to a standstill, Sean, with 9:07 to play.
Yeah, the third quarter went pretty quick.
It was blazing fast.
It felt like the fastest quarter. And now, a few more penalties, a few more things. I think if you're Grace, you're going to try to implement some things, try some things out. And then if you're Oakley, you're just, you're really biting at the chomps to get the football back so you can, work on that offense. Because, no matter what the score is, you have an opportunity here to better your team.
No doubt. This is critical play preparation for next week and the season. Nice high throw from Draper. It was a good ball, but just a little bit too much on that. The spiral was really nice, Sean. But it falls incomplete, just too far. 4th and 14 with 8:42 to play.
Yeah, and the wind kind of picking up here, as we were driving down. Me and Joel both from the Pocatello area. It was super windy in Pocatello, like moving my truck on the interstate windy. But luckily, nice here in the valley until, right now the wind's picked up a little bit. But pretty much pristine conditions for football on a Friday night in Idaho.
Yeah, the weather has been absolutely amazing. It was great to get out of that Pocatello wind and get into the valley here. And really just been perfect weather. 8:42 to play, 4th and 14. They're going for it as they would. Draper with the snap, gets the throw off, but that's going to be incomplete. And he goes down a little bit awkward there, Sean.
They're kind of running forward and got hit under, but up and looks fine.
Hobbling a little bit. Looks like he got hit like kind of awkward and land on that tailbone.
I kind of thought it might be like a dead leg, you know, if someone knees you in the side of the leg, kind of get kneed.
So Draper comes off to take a rest. So 8:37 to play in the fourth quarter. Now let's see if Hornets can get something going. They may not win this ball game, but at least get some points on the board and get some positive momentum going into the next few weeks.
Yeah, just kind of get that offense firing a little more cleaner to end this game would be definitely a positive for the Hornets.
A pitch to the outside. Runs into his own man, bounces off of Grizzlies tackler, and eventually it's brought down after a nice, about 15-yard run, tackled by Bryant Jensen, number 10, senior. The senior, number 10, Bryant Jensen. So nice run there from Jackson Rice, the sophomore quarterback. Valuable minutes for a young quarterback who hasn't had a ton of time commanding this offense. Another toss, this time to the left side. Another 5-yard gain from number 25, Bridger Conant. Again, Jackson Rice, he was banged up last year, didn't play much, but is healthy. Of course, he's without one of his key receivers, Coy Jones. But some other players have stepped up for the Hornets tonight, but just has not been enough, as it's been mostly Grizzlies football. But the Hornets are getting some momentum here as they make some positive, get some positive yards. 2nd and 5, 7:38 to play.
Got big 54 Jones here as a receiver, kind of some misdirection.
Handoff up the middle, gets to second level, no problem, and he'll get a first down and then some, and tackled at, looks like almost the 40-yard line, just beyond the 40-yard line. 7:20 to play and counting.
And this is what you want if you're Oakley, just to get that offense going, get positive yards, get to try your plays, get just kind of fill some of those holes that were there earlier in the game.
And quarterback calling the plays to his linemen, to his receivers. Good in-game experience. Throws the outside, and that's short. And that looks like we got a new quarterback, Sean. Jonathan Hines, who is listed as quarterback in DB. He's a junior, and he is now playing at quarterback. So a substitution, as Jackson Rice was playing most of this game, Jonathan Hines in the ball game.
A little mix-up, get some minutes, some valuable minutes. Anytime you get live minutes in the game, just so valuable for these players.
And you see Hines more calling the play, telling his lineman what the play is versus getting it from the sideline. Running around, finds some space, gets a nice block there. Tries to break a tackle and goes out of bounds. Nice run there from Jonathan Hines. 6:40 to play. So making something out of nothing. And brings up 3rd and 6.
Good footwork for the Oakley quarterback. Really nice job dropping back and moving those footsteps, all that drop back. They'll talk about quarterbacks and their footwork and how important it is, and it was on display right there.
We didn't see a lot of running from Jackson Rice in the game, and Hines comes in and brings that weapon. We'll see if they use that more in the rest of this game and maybe in subsequent games. Head off up the middle. Some more positive yards. But that'll bring a 4th and short for the Hornets. And then obviously go for this with 5:50 to play, we'll call it.
Yeah, just a nice job by Oakley Hornets to kind of get something rolling on the offense. Yeah, it's late in the game. The game's, the scores not going to matter so much now to them, but just working as a unit, as a team out there, getting positive yards.
Now Hines in the shotgun, running back on his left hip. He does hand it off, breaks a tackle, gets a couple extra blocks, finally gets second level, and is tackled after a nice long third down gang, bringing up 1st and 10, and almost inside the red zone. 5:29 and counting to play in this final quarter of 2A classification action. Of course, these teams were 1A D1 last year, but as 6A was introduced into Idaho, most teams have moved up, including Grace and Oakley, as he is sacked in the backfield. That's number 15, Chase Smith, continuing to make sure they remember his name as he's been everywhere tonight. Offense, defense, backfield, end zone, doing everything but buying the popcorn.
Yeah, Chase Smith's been all over the place. Same with Derek Hill for Grace. Both players getting it done. Very, very high level of offense and defense.
So 2nd and 13. Takes the snap, throws the outside. It's high. That's going to be picked off by Grace. Downfield 40, the 50. He cuts inside, gets a blocker, and finally tackled at the 28-yard line. Great pick by number 10, Bryant Jensen, the senior. Jensen was licking his chops, trying to get to the end zone, had a blocker, cuts inside, and he's finally tackled inside the 30.
Yeah, the ball just thrown too high for the Oakley receiver. Goes off the fingertips right into the bread basket of Grace, and they've had nothing but bread tonight, have the Grizzlies. Hibernation was not long here in Grace.
Those Grizzlies made sure they came out of winter quickly, get into their spring ball, no doubt. We got a new quarterback in for the Grizzlies as they hand it up the middle to number 9, Bryant Moss. Nice quick handoff from Cade Kimball, number 1. Freshman quarterback in now for Gavin Draper.
Both teams have put in another quarterback, and they're both number 1 for both Grace and Oakley.
Wonder if they ever sing the, I am number 1 song. I think they should.
Oh. Maybe.
Inside 4 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. It's been great to have you all with us. Sean Kane, Joel Richardson on the call tonight. Week 1 matchup. Great 2A battle between Grace and Oakley, but it's been all Grace, all Grizzlies, no hibernation. The Stingers have fallen off the Hornets tonight. A high snap, but the quarterback receives it no problem. Nice job by Cade Kimball to bring that down, Sean, because that could have been a dangerous over-the-head snap.
Yeah, just a good job. Both teams kind of putting in their second units now to get some time, and great opportunity for both to get some plays. But yeah, IdahoSports.com has so many shows right now, podcasts. Just to keep that in mind. You got your normal regional podcasts. We've got football podcasts. We got the Gem State. Got Yappin' Sports, Fightin' Spud. Just a huge amount of content right now on IdahoSports.com to get you ready for this school year sports season.
And the best prepcast of all time that called this game accurately, Sean, the East Idaho prepcast. As we hand off up the middle, looked like the ball came out. But I think they're going to recover that ball okay. A couple predictions were made on the East Idaho prepcast this week, Sean, about this game. Both Sean and I taking Grace as winners in this game tonight. We were just concerned with the Oakley Hornets having to replace all those seniors, and not just seniors, but highly productive seniors, amazing basketball, football players.
And your answer is very analytical and data-driven, where mine was I'm just usually a East Idaho homer.
No doubt. I love it. But Grace has definitely shown up tonight. Oakley will have some questions to answer in their next game. Bobbled snap, but he gets it okay. Gets some yards, cuts inside, touchdown for the freshman quarterback, Cade Kimball. Almost a blown up play and scores off the snap.
Kimball made such a, he kept trying to sell that pitch for 5 yards after the line of scrimmage and did a little head fake shimmy and shimmied himself right into the end zone.
Cade Kimball with a 15-yard, 20-yard run there for the touchdown. That snap was a little wild, but Cade Kimball brings it down, gets in for 6. Good for the freshman quarterback.
Yeah, what a huge opportunity. You can hear the fans are really excited for Cade Kimball to get that touchdown.
Two-point conversion over the top. Is that going to be caught? Big hit after the catch, but he comes down with it. Touchdown. Cade Kimball throws it over the middle, and he gets 2.
Yeah, two-point conversion, so they've...
Excuse me, I said touchdown.
Yeah.
Apologize. Two-point conversion is good.
Yeah, two-point conversion's good for the Grizzlies, and that was the one thing that, that we kind of said they needed to clean up, and they have here in the second half. And obviously the two-point conversion isn't going to play a big role in this game, 50-8, 1:53 left to go in the game. But as moving forward in 8-man football, you really want to get those two-point conversions. That could be the make or break in a close game. And the cheerleaders are in their hoodies now. It's hoodie season now, and I couldn't be more excited, Joel.
The cheerleaders, yeah, they were in their uniforms. It was nice and sunny, as you could see on the screen. That sun was coming right into the camera. That sun went down, the lights turned on, and the hoodies came on. And Sean couldn't be more excited. That hoodie weather, the mocha lattes.
No, I'm not into that. But,
okay.
But
peppermint lattes.
Being a tennis coach, I feel like I wear a hooded sweatshirt probably 80% of my life.
Especially playing tennis in Pocatello, playing tennis in
Idaho.
In East Idaho.
In Idaho, period.
50-8, all Grace in this game. 1:53 to play after a 15-yard touchdown rush by the freshman Cade Kimball and throwing the two-point conversion. Hats off to his receiver for catching that despite having that big hit. Another good kickoff from Grace, and that kickoff coverage team doing great work, only allowing the Hornets to get to the 20-yard line.
Grace just, whoever they have in seems to come up with a big play, either a big tackle, big catch, big block. Everyone's just coming up with some big plays tonight for Grace.
And this is great opportunity for Grace to bring in their second, third stringers. Although you don't have many of those in 8-man football, of course. But great to bring in, the freshman quarterback, freshman lineman, maybe a couple DBs. You don't want to give up maybe big plays, but this is great playing experience for these kids. Hines, shotgun, hands it off. Gets a couple yards and nice tackle there by the backers, by the DBs. I'm going to bring up second and about 6. 1:03 to play. Sean, let's talk about next week. What's up for these What's up for these teams? Of course, Grace Grizzlies leading this game. They play at Raft River next Friday, while Oakley
goes to Kendrick.
And I believe they have a bye this week. They do. They have a bye next week, and then they will play Kendrick at Homedale September 7th. That's a Saturday. And I was really looking forward to that game. I don't know how, Kendrick plays tomorrow, I believe. And we'll be very interested to see how this Oakley team responds after this game and plays a very tough Kendrick team who's going from 1A D2 to 2A football. Still 8-man, though.
Yeah, Kendrick's been a powerhouse the last few years, and Oakley, a tough schedule to start season, but you know what? That's what makes you better. If you're a young team, go play these tough games.
Hines hands it off to that right side. A nice tackle there. And he'll only get maybe a couple yards. That's going to bring us down to 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. Game over. Grace Grizzlies with the monster victory to open this campaign, 50-8 over the Oakley Hornets. We'll take a quick break and come back for a post-game show. You're watching the East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com.
An Idaho-based credit union is leading the way in community initiatives and charitable partnerships. Recognizing a need for change, Lookout Credit Union underwent a major transformation to put its employees and their community first. Through 2 strong initiatives, Lookout Credit Union is ensuring a brighter future for its community. To find out more, visit www.lookoutcu.com.
At all our local Teton dealerships, we're committed to our no problem philosophy.
No problem means we'll find it, not we don't have it.
No problem means the same fair prices that we've always offered on our new vehicles.
Because when you shop with us, it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicles.
It's not like I'm doing start.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Welcome back to East Idaho Game Night on IdahoSports.com as the Grace Grizzlies defeat the Oakley Hornets 50-8 in this Week 1 matchup of the 2024 Idaho high school football season. It's been great to have you with us. All Grizzlies tonight, Sean.
Oh, yeah, Grizzlies came out hard, came out ready to play defensively. I just thought they were phenomenal in the first half. Just not allowing Oakley to do anything. Oakley got that one drive and touchdown, and you kind of thought this was going to be a back-and-forth battle. It wasn't the case. The defense of Grace was just too much, and what the defense did was allow Grace to have good field position, and Grace's offense answered the call by putting down the touchdowns.
Yeah, it was all Grizzlies, both sides, offense and defense. Yeah, you're right. When the Hornets got those 8 points and they were only down 4, we thought, okay, here comes the game. This is going to be a back and forth battle, and Oakley's going to show who they are and what they do year in and year out. But nothing doing for Oakley. Grace buckled down, made some great defensive stops, including that fumble, that touchdown-saving fumble, and just amazing defense and offense from the Grace Grizzlies. But despite all that great play from the Grace Grizzlies in general, we do have a player of the game. Today's player of the game is brought to you by the Idaho Office of Highway Safety, reminding you to always keep your head in the game. Whether you're on the field or the road, be in the moment and free from distractions. Tonight's player of the game, Sean, is
Gavin Draper, 5 touchdown passes. Now, we had a hard time. There was a lot of Grace players that had a lot of impact on the offense and defensive side. But, when you have 5 touchdown passes, you commanded that offense. You really just showed, you're ready to lead this team this year. Those expectations that coach was saying, undefeated, state championship, Draper got him off on the right foot to start those high expectations. So Gavin Draper will be our IdahoSports.com player of the game of the first game.
First game. Congratulations to Sir Gavin Draper for an excellent performance tonight. Oklahoma talked about they have a bye next week. They can lick their wounds, recollect themselves, and get back to improving and trying to progress from this game as they have a bye next week, and they face a very talented, very strong Kendrick team at Homedale. Next week, this winning football team, Grace Grizzlies, will go to Raft River and play the Trojans, and that game could be another great one, as Raft River in the past has had some good football programs. But for us tonight, we're going to close this out. This has been an IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of East Idaho Game Night, presented by Project Filter, Valley-wide Cooperative, and the Idaho Office of Highway and Safety. Additional coverage on IdahoSports.com has been brought to you also by Teton Auto Group. This broadcast was also made possible by the great support from these local businesses: AMI Supply, Hardy Farms, Oakley Valley Stone, Clark's for Shopping, and Waibenga Dairy. Special thanks to Athletic Director Travis Draper and everyone here at Grace High School for their hospitality and help in getting this game broadcast to you. Congratulations again to our IdahoSports.com Player of the Game, presented by the Idaho Office of Highway Safety, Gavin Draper. Thanks again for joining us as the Grace Grizzlies defeat the Oakley Hornets by a score of 50-8. For my broadcast partner,
Sean Kane,
and everyone else behind the scenes here at IdahoSports.com, I'm Joel Richardson saying be excellent to each other, and we'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.